Just a couple of months ago, Haitong International Securities analyst Jeff Pugh announced that Apple's next iPhone generation would feature 48-megapixel ultra-wide-angle cameras for the first time, at least in the two Pro models, iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max, provided the latter is not renamed iPhone 16 Ultra, as has been repeatedly rumored for some time. Now Mr. Pugh has once again published an analysis on the future of the iPhone and looks even further down the line this time. In 2025, almost 2 years after the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the replacement of the 12-megapixel cameras should finally come about, at least in the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which will supposedly not only have a 48-megapixel main and ultra-wide angle, but also a 48-megapixel telephoto camera. Whether this also concerns the regular Pro model is not mentioned in the analysis, and further technical details are still lacking. According to Pugh, the new zoom camera will be specifically optimized for the Vision Pro spatial computing glasses, which will be launched in early 2024. Naturally, such early references to Apple products should be viewed with a great deal of caution, especially since Apple's plans for 2025 are far from finalized. Nevertheless, Apple at least appears to be moving in the same direction as the rest of the smartphone industry, albeit at a much slower pace. Apple company launches new phones every year. Every year brings new features in the new phones that grab everyone's attention. Just like this year, the Apple company brought their new phone, iPhone 16 Pro Max. The specifications and features of this phone are eye-catching. The iPhone 16 Pro Max phone has things that will surprise you. iPhone 16 Pro Max camera, performance, design and other features of this phone are like people's eyes. This phone will win people's hearts. It appears that Apple releases their phones in the fall every year, and 2024 won't be any different. September is when we expect the iPhone 16 variants to launch, as that's when Apple usually makes its product announcements. The source went on to state that September 20 is when the iPhone 16 series will be available at retailers. It's far too early to discuss pricing, but considering the $100 price increase on the iPhone 15 Pro Max last year, concerns about the iPhone 16's price are reasonable. Although it's always possible that more recent models, such as the iPhone 16 Pro, would cost more due to rising component costs, it's evident that Apple prefers to sell Pro phones for $999. The iPhone 16 Pro would need to undergo a major alteration in order to be priced that high. It looks like Apple is sticking to its September 10 release date for the iPhone 16 series, even though it intends to postpone the release of Apple Intelligence until October. This would imply that in order to use Apple Intelligence, customers would need to wait until iOS 18.1 is released. Apple used titanium for the iPhone 15 Pro series in order to create a more robust and lightweight phone. Anticipate that to persist with the iPhone 16 Pro, which is highly likely to maintain the USB Type-C port that Apple introduced to the existing iPhone range. The new action button that was added to the mute switch on the iPhone 15 Pro models is reportedly making its way into all iPhone 16 models, not just the Pros. All new models will have a capture button that will allow users to use the phone's camera to capture content and maybe focus it with a slight push. Action and capture buttons are present on all models of the iPhone 16, according to leaked cases. Another feature mentioned in a study is that swipe motions might possibly be used to accomplish zooming functions. The MagSafe wireless charging ring on all 4 of the new models, including the iPhone 16 Pro, will be slimmer, according to several iPhone 16 dummy devices that have surfaced. This could result in less mass and better charging all around. You can view how everything would appear on the purported iPhone 16 Pro dummy and how it contrasts with a production device. This set of leaked photographs of dummy units, or another pair here, offers an even closer look at how the size and style of the iPhone 16 Pro compare to all the other variants. Our initial hint of 2 possible iPhone 16 Pro color options, Desert Yellow, also known as Desert Titanium, and Cement Gray, also known as Titanium Gray. The iPhone 16 Pro will come in 4 color options: Space Black, Silver, Gray, or White, along with a brand new rose color. The same source went on to say that these colors will be applied using the same infused glass design found on the base variants of the iPhone 15. Several iPhone 16 Pro cases were leaked in a post on X, suggesting that the Pro will have a far larger camera island than previous iterations. Despite being a substantial increase, it makes sense in light of the numerous speculations indicating that the iPhone 16 Pro's cameras will be larger. One can assume Apple will use the same 6.1-inch display for the Pro model as it has for years. Apple may go to bigger screens, with the iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max or Ultra having panels that measure roughly 6.3 and 6.9 inches, respectively. This is corroborated by prototype-based renders of the iPhone 16 Pro. Given the size increase, a larger battery will probably be included as well. Dummy units that have leaked reveal the various iPhone 16 model sizes, including the 6.3-inch iPhone 16 Pro. For the iPhone 15 Pro, Apple never used the brighter Samsung panels that several analysts had predicted. However, Apple intends to boost the brightness of the iPhone 16 Pro by up to 20% above that of its predecessor. In fact, according to a recent report, Samsung will provide Apple with cutting-edge OLED panels for the iPhone 16 Pro versions, meaning that the final product will have displays that are 20% brighter than the original. Border reduction structure, a display building technique, may contribute to the iPhone 16 Pro's 1.2mm thin bezels. However, it's said that Apple's display vendors are having trouble producing enough panels at a sufficient level of quality. It may come as a surprise that not much information has surfaced on the possible camera configuration of the iPhone 16 Pro, given how important cameras are to mobile devices even today. But according to some serious reports we've heard, there may be some adjustments. The most persistent speculation concerning the cameras of the iPhone 16 Pro is that the tetraprism telephoto lens, which made its debut on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, will be included in the range of other Pro models. Research firms TrendForce and Haitong Securities, as well as many sources within Apple's supply chain, are now claiming this. That would probably increase the iPhone 16 Pro's optical zoom to 5x, the same as what the iPhone 15 Pro Max now has. It's possible that a new telephoto lens is on the way, one that will improve zoom camera performance and minimize size and weight. Additionally, rumors have claimed that the ultra-wide lens on the iPhone 16 Pro may receive an update from the 12 megapixels sensor it now has. All Pro models would include a 48 megapixels ultra-wide lens, continuing Google's recent Pixel 8 Pro trend. After molds and mock-ups were leaked, it appears as though Apple may be adding spatial video capture to other iPhone 16 models as well, even though it has only been available on the most recent Pro models. It could be necessary for someone seeking to upgrade their iPhone selfie camera to look past the iPhone 16 series. Apple's current 12 megapixels sensors will reportedly be upgraded to 24 megapixels in the iPhone 17 model series. Apple is rumored to be developing a lens coating for these cameras. Hopefully, this will make lens flares in images look better. Some competing phones can handle lens flares better than the iPhone. Even if it's not a camera in the conventional sense, a meta lens could improve the Face ID system on its own. This is a tiny lens that directs light using an etched surface instead of a curve, which may allow the upcoming iPhone's facial recognition components to be lighter and smaller. We would anticipate that the trend of the Pro models receiving the greatest mobile silicon from Apple for the past two updates will carry over to the iPhone 16 Pro. Analyst Jeff Pugh again specifically anticipates that the next A18 Pro system on chip, which we've heard may deliver some extremely excellent performance benchmark results, will be included in all iPhone 16 Pro variants. It's interesting to note that Pugh also believes that the 3nm A18 chip, albeit a comparatively less potent one, will power the basic iPhone 16. However, the chipset might have additional die space in at least one iteration, allowing for more transistors and specialized circuitry that could improve the performance of on-device AI. For some AI processing tasks, Apple might still need to rely on cloud servers. Furthermore, Apple intends to increase the power of the neural engine NPU for the A18 chip generation. This could indicate that it has more AI processing capacity than any other product that Apple sells. However, the A18 Pro's performance might not be as impressive as it could be. reported Geekbench CPU tests yield better results than the A17 Pro chip, but they also reveal lower scores than the predicted results for the next Snapdragon or Dimensity CPUs. Apple intends to stock an abundance of the chips, regardless of the A18's performance. Apple will also place an order for up to 100 million silicon chips to fulfill the demand for the anticipated iPhone 16. The first Apple phone to come pre-installed with 256 gigs of storage was the iPhone 15 Pro Max. There's a chance the iPhone 16 Pro will do the same, and rumors suggest that this year's iPhone 16 handsets will all have the required minimum capacity due to AI requirements. In any case, the iPhone 16 Pro may be able to offer up to 2 terabytes of onboard storage, double the maximum capacity that the iPhone currently offers due to a newly reported memory type. But memory speed. Regarding connectivity, it is anticipated that the iPhone 16 Pro will include support for Wi-Fi 7, which distributes data across 3 bands for quicker connections. It will only be available on the Pro versions, not the regular models. It's very obvious that Apple won't be using an in-house modem in the iPhone 16 Pro, because Qualcomm has previously stated that it will continue to provide modems to Apple until 2026. Rumor has it that the iPhone 16 Pro's battery will have a capacity of 3,577 milliamps, which is 9.25% more than the 3,274 milliamps battery found in the iPhone 15 Pro. This enhancement may be related to stacked battery technology, which was first speculated about but eventually absent from the iPhone 15 Pro series. That probably wouldn't be sufficient on its own to significantly change the phone's battery life in comparison to the iPhone 15 Pro. However, perhaps future improvements will allow us to employ this model a little more frequently than we did the previous one. The battery life might potentially reach 30 hours overall. Whether the iPhone 16 Pro will receive the new shell and density update that the iPhone 16 Pro Max is expected to receive is a matter of some debate. For the smaller Pro model, this would imply an even greater capacity and better battery life. However, the iPhone 17 Pro might receive such improvements instead. However, that Apple may put the batteries in the iPhone 16 models, including the Pro, in a metal case because it will make battery replacement simpler. Although iOS 18 was only mentioned as being compatible with current iPhone models, it is likely that this version will also work with the iPhone 16 Pro and other devices that will be released this fall. Apple released a sample of iOS 18 in June. A number of new features have been added to iOS 18, including a revamped Photos app, enhanced Mail, Notes, and other productivity tools, as well as a new look with more customizable iPhone home screens. It's possible that some features of iOS 18 are exclusive to the iPhone 16 Pro, but we won't know for sure until the device is released. Thus, the iPhone 16 Pro's speculated A18 chipset suggests Apple's upcoming flagship gadget will be able to run Apple Intelligence capabilities. Apple is integrating AI-powered features into its products beyond the iPhone. Based on what we've observed, Apple Intelligence provides writing tools for your phone, including proofreading and tone recommendations. Using generative editing tools, you can make new emoticons, Gemoji, as Apple refers to them. Additionally, Siri is becoming more intelligent. Although this functionality might not be available until sometime in 2025, the assistant will be able to apply context to your requests. An early look at Apple's intelligence capabilities may be found in the iOS 18.1 developer beta. iOS 18 is now available as a public beta. For first impressions, check out our hands-on review of the device. As Apple continues to refine them in the new year, those AI capabilities will be available on the iPhone following the release of the iPhone 16 Pro and will be denoted with a preview label. It is unlikely that the iPhone 16 Pro will be released prior to the Apple September event. This implies that there is still time for additional information to surface and provide fresh context for the first iPhone 16 model in Apple's Pro line. However, it appears that the iPhone 16 Pro will receive a significant update soon. More features include a bigger screen, a 5x optical zoom tetra prism lens, Wi-Fi 7, an enhanced ultra-wide-angle camera, Apple Intelligence AI, and more. As we learn more about potential future developments for Apple's higher-end handsets and whether the difference between the Pro model and the regular iPhone will widen, be sure to check back often for updates. So, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.